Welcome to your first day of school and welcome to our distance learning setting. And this is my virtual classroom. So the first thing that you see when you go to Google Classroom every day will be the virtual classroom. And basically what you want to do to get started is you want to find the minions on the screen, and here they are right here. So you'll want to go ahead and click those minions, and so then you can go to your getting started activity. So let's start with the getting started activity just so I can explain it. This is called a deck toy, and basically with a deck toy you have to move along a prescribed path until you get to the finish line. So you have to start wherever it says entry or start. So we're going to start here, and you click on it. It gives you a little explanation of what the deck toy is. And then now you can go ahead and move on to this next activity. Again, all of these activities will focus on distance learning and Google Meet. Notice how these other activities are light in color. That means you can't access them. Look, I'm going to try to access this word search. Oh, path incomplete. That means you cannot complete that activity until all the prior activities are completed. Okay, so you have to go through all the activities to get to the finish line. Once you finish, your score will be sent to me, and then those scores will go into the grade book. So basically, this is your first assignment for a grade. Okay, so we're going back to the virtual classroom. Make sure that you mute your microphone when you come to class. Participate positively, and then if you have any questions, make sure you use the chat. So in order to get to today's lesson, we need to click on Welcome, and Welcome will take you to the slideshow for the day. So again, today is August 10th, and welcome to your first day of high school. Welcome to your first day of your freshman year. All right, so again, we already talked about the getting started activity. You always want to complete that activity right away. The first thing you do before you actually get into the lesson. Okay, so there's the getting started activity. You can click the minions here as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the learning goal for today. So for today, you will, as an eagle, you will identify aspects of Mrs. Lominario's virtual classroom. You will understand Mrs. Lominario's rules and expectations and create a getting to know you slideshow using academic language and school appropriate images. So basically what we need to do today, if there was an agenda posted, you would be looking, we're going to look at the virtual classroom and give you a little explanation of that. We're going to talk about the rules and expectations of this distance learning. And then of course you're going to move into a slideshow where you're going to put some information about yourself so that the class and I can get to know you. So let's go ahead and move on to the next slide here. And let's see here, we have our some information about grading, our class rules, the virtual classroom, and over here we have the syllabus. So let's start with the grading policy. So I'm going to move myself up here, and I just want you to think about how you're going to respond to this year's academic responsibilities that are going to be given to you. So you must pass this class in order to graduate high school. So if you do not pass this class, English 9, you will have to retake the class in the summer or at another time. So make sure you try your best and pass it this first time that you go through it. It'll be much better to do it the first time. All right, so grading, you do receive 5 points per day of synchronous learning. So let's talk about that real quick. Synchronous learning, what is that? Synchronous learning is when we all will come together and learn via a Google Meet. Okay, we do have asynchronous learning as well, and on asynchronous learning days I will give you an assignment, but we will not meet face-to-face via Google Meet. We will just basically, you'll check Google Classroom, get your assignment, and then go from there. And then that's on Mondays, by the way. So today on this Monday we meet synchronously so we can kind of get to know each other And then after that, we will not be meeting synchronously on Mondays, only asynchronously. So again, you will have to be responsible to check Google Classroom on Mondays to find out what your assignment is for the day. You are still responsible for the 70 minutes of work for English 9 on Monday, even though we don't meet. And then the days that we do meet, we'll be on Google Meet for, 30 minutes or so, sometimes a little bit longer. But then after that, you are expected to spend the rest of the 70 minutes on work for this class. So again, you do receive 5 points per day of synchronous learning. So this week you can receive or earn 25 points just for showing up every day and participating. The following weeks, you can earn 20 points per week in participation for showing up and participating. Now, if for some reason you don't show up, or you show up with only the last few minutes of the class, you will not earn the points. Also, if for some reason you're kicked out of class, you will not earn those points. You cannot get those points back. Assignments are worth 10 points. Projects, also essays, are 20 points. Quizzes are 10 points, and tests are 10 points. All right, let's go ahead and look at the virtual classroom space. So if you look over here, this is the virtual classroom. So when you go to Google Classroom every day, you will see the virtual classroom. So basically what I've created here is something that would emulate or look like my classroom. So as if you were walking into my physical classroom every day, I wanted you to have this virtual classroom. So there are a lot of elements on the virtual classroom that are extremely important. Every element is clickable, so you can find out a bunch of things. These apps are super important. I posted a video on Google Classroom. I hope that you take the time to watch that video because I go in depth about each of the what each of these links lead to. Okay, so let's talk about the rules. They are right here, and if you click on that on the virtual classroom, it basically just takes you to a recording of me explaining the rules to you. So let's look at these rules, and these are super important. We're calling them the 4 R's, and these rules really, really need to be followed when we think about this distance learning and meeting together via Google Meet. So when you get to the Google Meet, you need to be ready. You need to be ready to participate, ready to answer questions. You need to have all of your supplies ready. You're ready to learn. You also need to be respectful. And what I mean by that is I need you to think about the other people that are in the Google Meet. You are not the only student present. There are 30 other kids present beside yourself. So think about them before you make any comments that would be disrespectful or that would just be inappropriate. So when we're in the Google Meet, you need to stay appropriate, be respectful. You need to be responsive. So whenever I ask you to do something, you need to do it, right? If I ask you to do your getting started activity, just do it. If I call in non-volunteers to read out loud, you do it because you're being responsive. And then responsible. You do have to take responsibility for your learning. This is a completely different setting. This distance learning setting is so different than in class. And in class, there's, I can see you, I can sit down next to you and help you with your work. Here, you have to be responsible for doing your work on your own, and then you have to be responsible for setting up an appointment with me if you need additional time or additional help. So make sure you do that. It is your job. So if you do not comply with these rules, and you can see this over here on the syllabus, down here, there is a progressive discipline policy. So if you do not comply with the rules, the first thing that will happen is you'll receive a verbal warning with me, and then after our synchronous learning time, I will meet with you one-on-one to discuss your behavior. The second time it happens in the same day, you will be removed from synchronous learning and you will not get to return to the class for the day. You are still held responsible for the learning for the day, the curriculum, the activities, and the assignments for the day. It's just you won't be able to be into the Google Meet with us. And I will also contact your parent at that point. The third thing that will happen, if it continues and it's just like an ongoing issue, you will receive a referral to Mr. Vasquez, who is your assigned principal. All right, let's go ahead and continue through here on the slideshow. So the first thing now that I want you guys to do, I'm going to move myself. I'll just stay right there. So you're going to do this, you're going to complete a Who Am I? So you'll need to go to Canva, and I did send you a link to, or an invitation, and it's sent to your email, and you can go there and find this template here, and you basically need to reflect. Who are you? Who are you anyway, right? I want you to think about yourself, and I want you to answer these questions. So how would you describe yourself? And how would others describe you? And I want you to answer the question using as many, I'm reading right here, as many adjectives as possible. Consider personality traits, labels, things in your control, and things outside of your control. You need to think of influences, perspectives, etc. So on this, I want you, when you go to Canva to work on this, right, I want you to put your name here. I want you to be creative. On Canva, you can choose different fonts and different colors. Certain aspects of this worksheet are locked, so you can't adjust any of the things I have here except your name. You can adjust that. But you can show me your personality in the colors that you choose and also in the fonts that you choose. But I just want you to put a bunch of different personality traits up here, or labels, or influences, or just things about you, hobbies. Kind of let me know who you are or who you think you are, right? How you describe yourself. So you're going to make a list of all the things. Actually, not a list. I want words all over the place, right? And then down here, people look at you different than you look at yourself most times, right? So when you think about others, perspectives of other people, or labels that other people put on you, or how people judge your personality, I want you to list those here, or just do like a word scramble here, a bunch of adjectives about how people would describe you. So this is important because this is going to lead us into our actually the next day lesson, where we're going to talk about identity even further. So I just want you to think about this. Who are you? We're going to talk about this a lot when we read our novel, To Kill a Mockingbird. We're really going to try to figure out who, the protagonist is as a person and how she will grow up throughout the novel. And I want you to think about yourself in this way too. Okay, so how do you describe yourself? And then how do others describe you? All right. So now, dun 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 dun, there we go. You're going to get to go ahead and create your own slideshow. Get myself down here in the corner. Okay, we're going to create your own slideshow. So now you kind of figured out who you are and you kind of did your brainstorming activity. I want you to now open up a slideshow. Actually, go to Google Classroom. The slideshow is already there. It is an assignment. And I want you to, you'll have 5 slides on the slideshow. And you need to be creative with this, right? So your first slide is your title slide. You need to make sure you put your name on this slide and also a favorite quote. And make sure when you use a quote that you tell me who the quote came from. Who is the original author of the quote? So be sure to include that on your title slide. The second slide is you need to write a story about yourself. Oh, wait. Yes, a story. I didn't say just to put 1 or 2 words. You need to write a story. So at least 1 paragraph of who you are. You do need to include a picture of yourself on this slide. We're in distance learning. I need to be able to see who you are. I need to be able to get to know you. I won't get to see you face to face in real time in the classroom until maybe later in the year. So for now, I'm going to really rely on these slideshows to get to know who you are. Okay, so make sure you put a picture of yourself there. Your class will see these, so be sure you put a picture that you're okay showing to the class. Slide 3, I want you to think about your top 3 aspirations. Okay, so what are 3 goals? 3 goals that you have for yourself. And these could be short-term goals. Short-term goals are things that you can accomplish within a few weeks to a month, 3 months. And long-term goals are things that maybe by the end of the school year, by the end of your sophomore year, by the end of your junior year, by the end of your senior year. Those are long-term goals. So you can do short-term goals or long-term goals or a blend of the two. Either one is fine, but you need 3 of those. Slide 4, you do need to have 5 top things that you love or that truly bring happiness to your life. Okay, so these are things, they could be people. What makes you happy? What brightens your day? Okay, so you need to have pictures for each of these, and you need to make sure that you caption these pictures. So basically you're going to have your top 5 list, and then you're going to have a picture for each of the things, and then you're going to, underneath each picture, you're going to put a little caption to explain what the picture is. Slide 5, you're going to describe your favorite place, and then I want you to explain why this is your favorite place. Again, this is about a paragraph of your favorite place, and then get a picture of your favorite place and put that on your slide. I do have a sample slideshow here to show you, so I'm going to go ahead and click on sample, and it's going to open up our sample slideshow. And we're going to just call this student Emily last name. So her first name is Emily, but we're going to keep her last name anonymous. That way it gives her a little bit of privacy here because she's not one of your classmates. So anyway, this is Emily last name, and she says that her favorite quote is, "The essence of life is to care. The secret of life is to dare. The adventure of life is to learn, and the challenge of life is to change. The joy of life is to love." Now I want you to look at this title slide and see how beautiful it is. Isn't that lovely? But she is going to lose some points here. I want you to think about it. What is she missing that she would lose some points? So I hope you thought about it. But she is missing the author's name for this quote. So she will lose a point for that. Really pretty, isn't it? Do you see that, how it showed up? Nice. All right, so who am I? So she gives you a paragraph about herself. She went above and beyond here because I asked for a picture of yourself, and she ended up putting just some images of things that represent her. So she was born on June 10th, makes her a Gemini. Currently she's 17 years old. She grew up with 2 families because her parents are divorced. Some activities that she does in her free time are painting, singing, and writing music, basically anything creative. My parents are both from Mexico, and Spanish was my first language growing up. A fun fact about me is that I'm vegan. So it's a great paragraph. It gives me a lot of information about her. I learned so much about her personality, a little bit about her background, and even a fun fact. Okay, the third slide are her aspirations, right? Her goals. So she again went above and beyond here, and what she has is she's got her goal, and then she kind of outlines what that would look like. Again, her goal, and then what does that mean? And then her goal, and what does that mean? Now remember, you only have to have your 3 goals, but if you want to go above and beyond, of course, you're welcome to. So you can see one of her goals is to have a successful career. Another goal is to have the proper mindset with balance. And then the last goal, is improving confidence. Okay. Slide 4, we're almost there, right? What brings me joy and happiness? So she's got her list I asked for 5, she gives 10, and then you can see she's got her pictures here. So she doesn't have actual pictures here, she's got some illustrations, and that works perfectly fine. And then she has her captions below the illustrations to explain what each illustration stands for. Her last slide is her favorite destination, and so she gives us her explanation or the description of her destination, why it's her favorite, and then here is a picture or an image of her destination. All right, you can read that on your own. Okay, so that is the Getting to Know You slideshow. And how much is that worth, you might ask, right? How is this going to be graded? Well, your slideshow is a project. And as I said on a previous slide, projects are worth 20 points. And so basically what you're going to earn is 4 points per slide. So as long as you have all the information, then you will earn the points. If you are missing something, you will lose points. So you can see here how are your 4 points per slide going to be broken up. The first slide, just having your name, you get a point. The quote is 2 points because 1 point for the quote and 1 point for the author of the quote. The design is also worth 1 point. You can see slide 2, 3 points for the story and 1 point for the picture of yourself. Slide 3, 3 goals, so 3 points for having the 3 goals, and then the design is 1 point. Slide 4, you get your top 5 list with 2 points. Images with captions are also 2 points. Whoops, this slideshow is going berserko. Okay, slide 4, it is a description and why, the description and the why of your favorite place. That's 3 points, and then the image is 1 point. Okay, so you have the grading. The next question I bet you have is, when is this due? So this is actually going to be due on Wednesday. Yep, Wednesday, this Wednesday. So we're on Monday the 10th. So this is due Wednesday, August 12th. You will be presenting these slideshows or your slideshow to the class on Wednesday, so be prepared to do so. All right, well, that is it. That sums up the lesson. If you have questions, I need you to go ahead and reach out to me. You can schedule a time during my office hours to meet with me, or you can email me, or you can message me on Remind. And the information about how to get to Remind is on the syllabus. All right, well, have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.